Distant future, 3 astronauts make a mind-blowing discovery that could rewrite everything we know. Upon returning to Earth, Greg, the mission leader, is stunned as they confirm something impossible. There's water on Pandora, one of Saturn's moons. Excited and cautious, Sophie and Kyle agree. They have to collect a sample and bring it back home. Kyle wades in first. The second his foot hits the surface, he yells, "It's freezing!" Undeterred, he plunges both legs in and pulls out an AI power analyzer. It hums to life, scanning the liquid and announcing routine details. Temperature, clarity, pH. As the machine talks, Sophie steps in beside him, curious. But suddenly Kyle freezes and blurts out, "I found something strange." Greg, facing away, spins around. "What seems odd?" he asks. No reply. Kyle has vanished. Eyes wide, Greg stares at the empty space where Kyle stood. "Did you see that?" he demands. Sophie, still right next to where Kyle had been, looks shaken. "He was just here. I don't know where he went." Greg doesn't hesitate. "Get out of there now," he orders. But it's too late. Without warning, Sophie is yanked down into the water with terrifying force. Greg lunges to grab her, his hands skimming only the ripples. She's gone. A massive surge of water erupts, towering up like a living beast, and lashes out toward Greg. Heart pounding, he realizes there's nothing more he can do. His team gone. The danger rising. Greg turns and bolts back to the ship, water crashing behind him like a tidal wave chasing its prey. Greg somehow stumbles back to the spaceship, soaked, breathless, and shaken. Without wasting a second, he sends out a distress call to Earth, urgently sharing their location and pleading for help. But just as he hits send, the entire ship starts to tremble wildly. Alarms blare, lights flicker, and the console jolts beneath his hands. It's chaos. Somehow, through all the shaking and confusion, the message transmits successfully, but as the static settles, Greg's fate slips into silence. No one knows what happened next. Back on Earth, High Command isn't wasting time. Admiral Doreen calls an emergency meeting with Jennifer and Cliff, a skilled married duo, and Colonel William, who's already been briefed on the mission's mysterious turn. They rush into the room, tension thick in the air. "Thank you for coming on such short notice," Doreen says quickly, her face serious. But there's no time for formalities. She lays it all out. A distress signal from the crew on Pandora, the sudden loss of contact, and the eerie silence ever since Greg's final call. Then comes the bombshell. "We're launching a rescue mission," Doreen declares. "Greg's team has been missing ever since that message, and we're going to find out what happened." Doreen wastes no time. She explains firmly that William will stay on Earth to oversee the rescue unit from Space Force Command. Jennifer and Cliff, trained and ready, will handle emergency medical support if anything goes wrong. The rescue team will be led by Commander Hank, who's been assigned to pilot the ship towing their specialized medical craft. That name alone makes Jennifer freeze. Hank was once detained for shooting down a Chinese military aircraft, a scandal that nearly cost him his career. "We're trusting him," she blurts, but William cuts in, calm and steady. "Hank's no ordinary pilot. He's got skills that most don't even come close to," William says. "And right now we need the best." Jennifer and Cliff drop the tension for now and pivot to the real issue. "How are we even supposed to reach Pandora? It usually takes months," they ask. Dorian and Colonel William share a secret weapon, the wormhole. It's a shortcut through space. Fast, unstable, and terrifying. "You'll make the trip in minutes instead of months," Doreen says. But listen closely. It only stays open for 10 hours. After that it shuts and won't reopen for 6 months. The countdown has begun before they've even launched. Then comes the twist. Jennifer hears the name Greg, and her stomach turns. She realizes he's the same Greg she once dated back when they worked together. In front of her husband, no less. She masks it with a shaky smile, but Doreen sees right through it. "Is this going to be a problem?" Doreen asks flatly. Jennifer forces a no, but Doreen asks again, sharper this time. Cliff's eyes narrow at the name. He's clearly picking up on something. Jennifer turns to him saying, "What happened is in the past." Trying to change the subject, she fires back at Doreen. "How do you know all this?" Doreen sidesteps. Greg's main objective was to find a water source on Pandora, but if something contaminated it, you could be dealing with deadly bacteria, and who knows what else. Jennifer's jaw tightens. She doesn't hesitate. "Then I'm going. It's already been hours. There's no time." William backs her up. "You both should go. Make the necessary assessments before it's too late." Jennifer and Cliff nod. The clock is ticking. With no time to waste, Jennifer and Cliff gear up for the mission, hearts pounding, nerves tight. They board the spacecraft with a tight-knit military crew, led by the firm and focused Colonel William. At the helm sits Hank, the skilled but controversial pilot who's been given one more chance to prove his worth. Just before takeoff, the commander's voice cuts through the cabin. "Brace yourselves," he warns. "It's going to get rough near the wormhole. Stay sharp." Moments later, the ship surges toward the wormhole, and the chaos begins. Just like Hank predicted, the external forces slam into the ship with crushing intensity. The pressure inside skyrockets, making the walls groan and the lights flicker like a heartbeat on the edge. Suddenly, red alerts flash. The system reports damage to several key components. Without hesitation, Cliff leaps from his seat, eyes locked on the failing systems. He works fast, flipping switches and rerouting power while barking short command. The team scrambles to assist him, sweat and panic mixing in the air. With seconds to spare, they stabilize the pressure just before the ship is torn apart. Even the tough commander can't hide his respect. He nods at Jennifer, muttering, "Your guy's got nerves of steel." The ship bursts out of the wormhole, and Pandora finally comes into view, floating in a curtain of light and mist. The entire crew falls silent. It's breathtaking, otherworldly. Cliff, still catching his breath, explains how this strange moon was first discovered. But the moment is short-lived. Tension spikes again as Cliff and Colonel William clash over the landing plan. Cliff insists that the surface is unstable. His research proves it, but William refuses to back down. "Landing is my job," he growls. "We're going down at these coordinates." Against all odds, William lands them safely, right where Greg's last signal came from. The ship thuds onto the surface, holding strong despite the earlier damage. Jennifer and William check every critical system. After a tense pause, they agree. It's stable enough. The ship will survive the trip back if they survive what's coming next. Suited up and ready, the team steps out onto Pandora's eerie terrain, their visors fogged with anticipation. With the sun slicing through the sky in bursts, Hank explains how quickly the lighting shifts here. Bright one minute, pitch dark the next. As they move forward, someone in the group suddenly shouts, "Look!" All eyes snap to the horizon, and there it is, the Cassini. Jennifer narrows her eyes. "It looks like it's been underwater for years," she murmurs. Another crew member shakes his head. "That's impossible. There's no water near," but he stops mid-sentence. Because there it is. A massive body of water glimmers ahead, rising like a ghost mirage, as if Earth itself had spilled across this alien moon. Confused and on edge, they inch closer. Then it happens. The water begins to shift. Before their eyes, molecules surge together and rise, twisting into a towering rod-like form. Alive, alert, and watching, it pulses like it's breathing. Without waiting, the armed squad reacts. Their weapons blaze. Rapid-fire bursts of advanced rounds tear through the silence. But it's useless. The creature doesn't flinch. Bullets pass through it like smoke through wind. Suddenly, the Cassini's engine roars to life. It starts moving, on its own, rolling toward the team's main ship like something's taken control of it. Commander Hank snaps into action. He spots another ship on the radar, heading straight toward them. His voice cuts through the static. "AI, scan the vessel." The AI responds instantly. No body temperature detected. The ship appears to be empty or unable to support life. Without hesitation, Hank barks, "Destroy it!" A pulse of energy fires from their defense system. Boom! The mystery ship vanishes in a flash of light, obliterated before it can make contact. The silence that follows is electric. Jennifer's voice rings out through the static-filled comms. "There are bodies over here!" She sprints toward the water's edge and freezes. It's them. Sophie and Kyle, lifeless, pale, still suited up. The others rush over, and for a moment no one breathes. These are their friends, gone. But then, gasp! Sophie suddenly sucks in air, her chest jerking. Kyle twitches, then starts breathing on his own. Shocked, Jennifer shouts for help, but just then, a shadow moves across the clearing. Someone's walking toward them, hands raised in surrender. He stops, looking directly at her. "Remember me," he says softly. Jennifer blinks. The voice, the face. It's Greg. She stares in disbelief. "Greg? What happened to you?" she asks. "I don't remember," Greg replies, his expression blank, haunted. Jennifer pushes past the confusion. There's no time. She grabs Kyle and Sophie, dragging their barely conscious bodies back toward the ship. William intercepts her, blocking her path. "You can't bring them aboard. We have no idea what they've been exposed to. You could contaminate everything." Jennifer doesn't flinch. "I'm the medical lead. It's my call. And I'm not leaving them here." The air crackles between them as the team watches. William holds her stare, then finally backs down. "Fine. But you're responsible if this goes wrong." "Thank you," Jennifer says sharply, then waves the others to help carry the survivors inside. Meanwhile, aboard the command ship, Hank receives an urgent transmission from Earth. Doreen's voice crackles over the comms, tense, angry. "You destroyed a ship worth a fortune. You'd better have a good reason." Hank explains what happened: the silent ship, the AI scan, the immediate threat. Doreen isn't satisfied. "Do not let anyone on board unless you are absolutely sure they're clean," she snaps. Then the threat hits hard. "If even one contaminant is discovered, the government will nuke your ship." "That's not a warning, it's a protocol." She cuts the line. Jennifer and Cliff rush the wounded Cassini crew towards safety. The survivors, shivering, dazed, insist they remember nothing. Blank stares, fragmented sentences. It's like their minds are clouded by fog. Meanwhile, near the shimmering lake, the military team stays behind, trying to gather intel on whatever lashed out before. But then, the nightmare returns. A soldier screams as he's snatched into the water without warning. The team unleashes firepower, blasting blindly into the liquid mass, hoping something will give. But it's no use. The water rises and spits the soldier into the air, a lifeless puppet hurled by something unseen. His body slams into the ground with a sickening crack. They've seen enough. "We're outmatched," one mutters. They retreat. Back on board, Jennifer and Cliff place Kyle on a warming table, hooking him up to oxygen. One by one, they examine the others. But something's wrong. Interference buzzes through the oxygen units, glitching the system. Greg suddenly sits up and starts removing his mask. "Don't!" Jennifer shouts, but Greg doesn't stop. Sophie peels hers off too. "I'm not waiting for something unknown to eat me from the inside," she says. Jennifer curses under her breath. There's no winning this. She rips off her own mask and orders, "Everyone, get your gear in the laundry now. Full decontamination, masks off, suits stripped." Breathless silence. Jennifer looks to Sophie and Greg. "How are you feeling?" They both shiver. "We're okay, just freezing." "Cliff, get tea, hot and fast," she says, already turning. She marches to the control room and connects to the commander. His voice crackles through. You can't come back until I have proof everyone is clean. Full health reports, every detail. Jennifer nods stiffly. Understood. She turns and heads straight back to her patients. There's no room for error now. Jennifer storms back into the room and immediately spots a problem. Kyle's drenched in sweat. Her eyes flash to the warming table. You raise the temperature? She snaps at Cliff. Cliff stumbles with an excuse, but it's too late. Kyle jolts upright, violently vomiting water, then crashes to the floor. Jennifer races to his side. This isn't from the heat, she barks. It's something else. She whips around Greg. Sophie, quarantine, now! But Sophie doesn't move. Her face twists in disbelief. I'm not infected, she says, voice rising. This is a mistake. Before anyone can react, she lunges, grabbing a gun from a nearby table and aiming it straight at them. Stay away from me, she shouts. The doors burst open, the military squad's back, muddy, grim-faced, defeated from their failed attack. They enter just in time to see Sophie holding the weapon. Drop it, one yells, rifles instantly raised. Everyone freezes. Sophie blinks hard. I feel... dart, strange. Then she collapses to her knees and vomits directly in front of William. William stumbles back, but it's too late. His skin flushes, his breathing stutters. He's been exposed. Panic erupts. Jennifer and the others rush to contain the scene, grabbing William and a nearby woman who may also be infected and forcing them into the quarantine chamber. While everyone scrambles, Greg steps forward, hands up. I never touched the water, he says. I'm fine. Everyone looks to Jennifer. She studies him, searching for signs, then nods. Leave him. She looks down at Kyle, still unconscious, and thinks back. It was the chlorine saline, she mutters. That must have triggered the reaction. Around her, tension simmers under every breath. The infection is spreading, and time is running out. Jennifer rushes to report new findings to Hank, her voice tight with tension. There's something alive in Pandora's water, possibly parasitic. Hank's face hardens. The wormhole closes in 2 hours. If you don't find a cure before then, we leave, no exceptions. The pressure's on. With a new objective burning in their minds, the team leaps into action. Jennifer believes the key to stopping the infection might lie in fully decontaminating it before it spreads to Earth. But things spiral fast. Outside, the water creature looms, watching. Then without warning, it begins to shift, morphing, duplicating the ship's exact form. Steel-like limbs stretch from the liquid mass, an eerie mimic of their own vessel. Then it lunges. Hank's ship rocks as the duplicates attack, surrounding it like a rising tide of clones. But Hank fights back, triggering an automated defense barrage, obliterating the creatures one by one. Just when it seems over, Pandora itself fights back. Massive water tentacles rise from the ground, churning, reaching, and writhing toward the ship like living ropes. Hank's voice booms across the channel. Find a solution now! If we lose control, I'm shutting the wormhole. Inside, chaos builds as the creature starts hammering the ship, shaking it like a toy in a storm. But Jennifer doesn't panic. She thinks, science is how we stop this, not weapons, she declares. She remembers something basic yet powerful. Oil and water don't mix. Engine oil, on the hull, cover the whole surface. The team scrambles, dousing the exterior in thick black oil, sloshing it across panels, vents, and ports. And just like that, the attacks stop. The creature recoils from the barrier, retreating as if burned. The ship settles. For a breathless moment, there's peace. Jennifer wastes no time. She begins testing a new method to purge the infection. Salt, to change the pH inside the infected crew's bodies. If her theory's right, it'll kill the parasite, but to be sure, she tests it on herself first. She hooks up the IV and takes a deep breath. Then her knees buckle. She collapses, gasping, shaking. Greg steps forward, eyes dark, cold, I switched the IV, he says. You've now become one of us. Gasps echo through the ship. Before panic can spread, 2 soldiers storm in, returning from the oil deployment outside. They act fast, tackling Greg and locking him up. Alongside the quarantined William, Cliff steps up, face pale, hands steady. I'm giving her the injection now, he says. He injects Jennifer and the others. Everyone holds their breath. Moments crawl by. Then Jennifer blinks, breathes, sits up. The color returns to her face. The infected team members slowly stir. They're okay. The cure worked. We need to move, now, Jennifer barks. The crew races toward Hank's ship to prepare for departure, but Pandora has other plans. Without warning, the ground beneath them explodes in waves. The water creature rises, larger than ever, flooding every crevice of the moon's surface. Shut the engines down, now, Jennifer shouts. Dump the sailing mix, then restart. The crew scrambles, executing her orders. Steam hissing, systems flashing. It works. Almost. A tendril of water slips aboard, a piece of the monster. Then comes the worst news yet. A government nuke has been launched. Their orders are clear. If infection reaches the ship, they don't make it home. The water creature lashes out, pulling a crew member into the engine with brutal force. Screams echo. Oil spills, chaos everywhere. Jennifer and Cliff search for a new edge, fast. Then inspiration strikes. Nitrogen, Cliff shouts. We can freeze it out. They flood the ship with nitrogen gas, and the creature screeches, shrinks, and finally collapses into nothing. The AI scans the vessel. No signs of contamination detected. They're clear. The ship bursts through the wormhole and glides back into Earth's atmosphere, landing with a splash on the open sea. For a moment, everything is still. Greg looks out the window, his voice low. We're surrounded by water. ... What if the parasite comes back? Jennifer smiles wearily. We're in the Jordanian Sea, the saltiest sea on the planet. Nothing surviving in that. Cliff nods beside her. This place is as toxic to the parasite as Pandora was to us. Greg exhales. Finally at ease. The end. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and tell us what film you want recapped next.